Yo, Shortbox Nation, this is Botter, and I'm here to tell you right now that con season starts early this year with the return of Northeast Florida's premier anime, comic book, and sci-fi event, Collective Con. That's right, Northeast Florida's largest pop culture convention returns for its 10th year on March 8th through the 10th at the Prime Osborne Center in Jacksonville, Florida. 10 years of Collective Con, they're pulling all the stops out to make sure this is a can't-miss event. And the guest list they got going, don't even get me started on the guest list. I mean, they've got A-list celebrity guests and voice actors from some of your favorite movies, anime, and video games like Elijah Wood and Sean Ashton, Ray Park, Trisha Helfer, Ross Marquand, Max Middleman, and Bo-Katan herself will be there, Katie Sackhoff. Tell me what other convention is giving you the opportunity to meet Frodo and Sam from Lord of the Rings, Darth Maul, and One Punch Man all under the same roof. Only at Collective Con. And if you're looking to get some of your favorite comics signed, or if you want to get an original sketch from some of the best comic artists in the world, well, you're in luck, because there'll be plenty of comic and creator guests there, like DC comic artist extraordinaire Clay Mann, Harvey Award-nominated illustrator John Taylor Christopher, Marvel and DC cover artist Chris Stevens, and acclaimed Star Wars author Timothy Zahn. They'll all be at Collective Con this year. And if you're looking to bring the family, or if you want to make a weekend out of it, you're in luck, because there'll be so much going on at Collective Con that weekend in the form of vendors, fan panels, video game tournaments, cosplay contests, after parties, and a bunch of fan events. You can purchase single and 3-day weekend passes now using the link in this episode's show notes, or by going to collectivecon.com to book your tickets and hotel. Buy your tickets now, and I'll see you at Collective Con, March 8th through the 10th. Now let's start the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Shortbox Podcast.
The Shortbox Podcast is recorded live from Jacksonville, Florida.
Let's go ahead and get this one going. This is some orange juice today. All right.
You should this screwdriver? What is that?
No, just regular orange juice today.
Mimosa? No, okay.
Yeah, sure. Regular orange juice.
Had one too many.
I never drank a
Modelo's
regular orange juice. Like, oh man, this is a really good orange juice.
I'm like that Sunny D commercial. All right, Sunny D.
Botter's like, look, I'm just a nice Floridian boy.
Unless it's a sponsor. Are we sponsored by the Orange Council?
Tropicana is the new sponsor.
Tropicana?
Not only are we the world's best comic book podcast, we're also the podcast with the most vitamin C, thanks to our sponsor, Indian River.
Yeah.
The Shortbox Podcast, chock full of your daily vitamin C.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Yo, Shortbox Nation. Welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 347. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome to the show. This is the Shortbox Podcast, and we're taking a break from our usual character and comic spotlights for an episode dedicated to catching you up with some notable headlines and announcements that have happened in the comic and pop culture world in the last month. This is our Shortbox News episode. My name is Botter Milligan, and I'm just one quarter of the host that will be entertaining you today. And the first piece of good news I have to share is that the full crew is back on this one. Round of applause just for that news alone, baby. We back.
Crowd's going wild.
You've already heard their voices a little bit so far, but let's officially introduce the rest of your favorite comic podcast crew. First up, he'd normally be sitting to my left, but he's calling in from a warm cell in Arkham Asylum where he rightfully belongs. It's Cesar Cordero.
I have no idea how to respond to that.
I'll tell you how to respond to that. Shut up, inmate, and keep it moving.
It's fine. It's fine.
Also calling in, but from a much nicer location. And she's someone that we've all missed a lot lately, all right? Miss Ashley Laney-Hoy is back with us today, Shortbox Nation.
Hey.
We missed you, Ashley. We missed you. She's like, I didn't miss you guys.
Has it been that long? It has been that long, I guess.
Yeah.
The last time we all were together was actually a month ago when we did our Spider-Man live
event. Yeah.
I'm busy. Leave me alone.
I've been telling everyone on the show that you've been too busy in Hollywood signing contracts with Neil Gaiman and shit.
How's that
like
going? That's telling.
I know, busy. What time? Okay, we're good.
Is this over
We're good
yet?
on time.
All right.
We're good on. I love it.
And last but not least, joining me in the studio is the Robin Quivers to my Howard Stern. Let's give it up for Evan Danzart.
Wait a second. Hold on. Botter is Howard Stern?
Just trying to be like my idol. That's it.
Really?
Really?
WNBC.
Oh, we're getting the strippers in the studio today. Or wait, new Howard Stern or old Howard Stern?
Old.
Okay.
Oh my God. Is that sound coming where it's coming from? Oh, it's so sexy.
Oh my God. Okay, enough. But anyways, Shortbox Nation, we are back in full force, as you can tell. And since we are recording this episode via video, we will have a video version of this podcast on our Patreon channel for all of our loyal Shortbox patrons to check out early before the audio version drops. Now, this week's assignment, like I said at the top, was for each of us to select at least one piece of comic news or a headline from the last month to spotlight and discuss as a group. As our favorite Green Lantern would say, today we've got... Oh, what the fuck? Was that laughter? What the fuck was
Yes,
Laughing
it
at the
finally
premise.
happened. It
Gosh.
finally happened. Your
Damn it,
freaking little soundboard betrayed you.
I said, as our favorite Green Lantern would say, ha 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 ha. No, we've got a lot to talk about. It's supposed to be the Jon Stewart drop.
We've got things to talk about.
All right, but look, we've got a lot to talk about, and we'll get to that here shortly. But you know what? I'd be a terrible salesman if I didn't remind you about the ways you can support this show and ensure that we raise enough money to bail Cesar out just in time to see his child being born. All right, we got to make sure he gets to that monumental moment. If you enjoy this episode and you want to lend your support so we can pay some bills and keep the lights on here at the Shortbox Studio, consider buying some merch from us. We just restocked our online store for brand new shirts, hats, and pins, and you can save 10% on your order at checkout when you use the discount code YO. That's with 2 O's, all right? There's a link to the Shortbox store in the show notes, so you wear your support proudly and help Cesar rehabilitate his life for the better. It's not cheap, fixing the problems of Cesar's past, all right? So
Look, I'm just happy we're not using Keep It Geeky anymore.
that would be the 20% code. That's a good idea.
You just brought
Oh
it
my
back.
God.
You just brought it back, dude.
We'll wait until the
no.
end of this episode.
Let sleeping dogs lie, bro.
All right. Well, let's get on with the main event now that I got my shameless plug out the way. With the return of the queen herself, Ashley, I would love if you'd kick us off with the first
Your
topic
Majesty.
today.
All right. So this week through Heritage Auctions, the first appearance of Spider-Man in the black and white suit from Secret Wars number 8 sold for $3.36 million
Line of
for a
business.
single page
3
of
panels.
original comic book art, which was only from 1984,
Yeah.
which doesn't seem like that long ago.
Not
Oh,
at all.
And guess how
But I
much
guess
Mike
it
Zeck's
is.
getting for that?
I mean, it's got to be a
Oh yeah,
generous
I'm sure
amount,
Mike
right?
Zeck's getting nothing.
He's getting the big 0.
So yeah, I was looking up. There was another. So the only one I could find even close to that was the first appearance of Wolverine, which it says Incredible Hulk 180, not 181, but I guess 180 had that little panel
little
of him at
cameo.
the end of
Yeah,
it.
Like a little teaser.
That sold for $657,000.
Damn. I'm in the wrong line of work. And Ashley, do you know if they gave the name and or address of the person that bought that piece? by any chance?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that whole thing was so secretive. Like I tried to find it, and there was nothing.
They didn't want his wife finding out either. It's like, don't tell my wife about this comic page.
And this week, too, they sold another Action Comics number 1, and I keep that was for $3.18 million. But I'm wondering, like, you hear about that all the time, and there aren't that many Action Comics number 1. So I'm wondering if they're just getting like sold and kind of like shuffled around.
Auctioneer number 281. You win a Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Well, you guys know Rob Jones.
Yeah.
When he worked for the CGC, they had that Action Comics number 1 come in, and it came in an armored car.
Damn.
And was brought in by guards, and everyone watched 2
Jesus.
people CGC grade it, and then it went back into the armored car.
Damn.
Bruce
So I'm
Wayne.
wondering if it's something like that.
Is it from Wayne Tech? Like he had his own soldiers? That's
They took the
wild.
exact measures that you would take with actual kryptonite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Or like plutonium or something. That's crazy.
Actually, when you're saying this original art piece for Secret Wars 8 sold, we're talking like the actual board itself that Mike Zeck drew on, right?
Yes, yeah. So the original on that cool comic book paper.
Yeah, it's probably like
I
a
don't know.
Bristol
It's really
board.
neat. I'm surprised that it sold for so much. Honestly, I can't believe it.
No, that's fucking Mike Zeck, baby. If there's anyone that demands a high price, it's Mike Zeck. Like,
There's like a guy somewhere sipping wine, looking at this page, like, "Oh fuck yeah, the Zipatone." Oh,
There's not even Zipatone. It's a really simple, and I love Mike Zeck. I'm not throwing shade, but it's like a pretty simple page. It's not like something from Craven's Last Hunt, or something
Right. Oh, yeah.
wild.
And I mean,
This
it's the splash page of like Spider-Man kind of
It's
looking at
basically
himself like dazed, right?
It's like half the page is like the reveal of the suit, and then 2 panels. So it's 3 panels. And like I said, it's probably just ink on Bristol, probably 11 by 17, 11 by 14.
Yeah.
I better come with a frame. $3 million.
Now it's gonna come
can you
rolled up
imagine?
in
It's
a
like
little
roll it
tube,
up in a-
and
it's like all
band.
rolled up. You're like, "What the fuck?" It's like, I'm sorry, you got to go to Hobby Lobby. We're not going to do all the work for you.
Put it in a dollar store frame, like a diploma frame.
But yeah, so I was thinking, like, if money wasn't an issue, like, what if you could have anything? Like, what would your original page be?
Ooh, that's a great one.
Ashley, I liked your article and story so much. I really got into it. So I have a top 3, if you don't mind me sharing. First and foremost, I think I would absolutely love to own an original Jack Kirby, and preferably from like his Thor run. So like one of the covers, right? And the 2 that come to mind is there's a Thor 126 where it's him and like Hercules kind of going at it. And then Thor 151 is Thor and the Destroyer. I always like the way Kirby like draws Destroyer. So one of those would be pretty awesome. Anything George Perez from like Crisis on Infinite Earths, because I think that is getting the most bang for your buck, right? If I'm to spend all this money on original art, you can't go wrong with George Perez, I think. Especially Crisis on Infinite Earths. He damn near drew everyone on that one double-page spread he did of Alex Ross. And speaking of Ross, my last one is I would love to own anything by Alex Ross from like the Marvels stuff he did.
Oh man, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
What about you, Ed? Money's not a thing. Original artwork. What would you go with?
Alex Ross is a solid pick. I would like to get some of Sam Keith's stuff, just to see how he does it, just to see what he's doing with pens and pencils. I'd probably like to get Simon Bisley page, probably like a painted page, or I'm not sure if he painted those and then he just paneled them together, but probably something from, anything from Heavy Metal or his Turtles series with the Casey Jones, the Body Count series. Ooh. And oh man, who else would I get? You know what? Let's throw in some Mobius originals.
Ooh,
yeah.
Let's go full
the old Mobius,
full range of crazy to
Moebius,
refined to insanity.
That'd be legit. What about you, Ashley? What would you get? What would be your original artwork? Yo, this is Botter. Sorry for interrupting this episode, but I'll keep it brief. I wanted to let you know about a massive sale we have going on over at the Shortbox Store on all of our merchandise and apparel. That's theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com. You can now save 20% off your entire order using the discount code YOO, Y-O-O. So if you've been waiting for the right time to finally buy that gauntlet snapback, or if you ever wanted to buy any of the shirts you see me wear on the podcast, well, now's your chance to get them for a steal. We still have a few sizes left of everything, but they won't last long, and once they're gone, they are gone. And then I mentioned that all of our apparel is screen printed on high quality material. None of that heat transfer or direct to garment stuff. Our shirts are some of the most comfortable ones you'll ever wear, and the hats look even better in person. So wear your support for the Shortbox Nation proudly, knowing that you're going to look damn good doing it. Get to theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com as soon as you can, and don't forget to use that discount code YOO, Y-O-O, to save 20% off your entire order. All of this information can be found in this episode's show notes if you want to get there faster. Thanks for not pressing fast forward. Now back to the show.
So definitely like that old Journey into Mystery Kirby Thor stuff, like anything crazy, anything that's got like Loki on that page. Or Will Eisner.
Oh,
damn.
Just
that's
like
some good
it's
shit right
just
there.
the start of everything.
Oh.
I mean, you technically count it as a comic book page, even if it wasn't on that regular layout, but I would just love to have like original Will Eisner artwork.
I'm sure it's
Yeah.
great looking.
You're trying to stunt. That's what you're trying to get at.
gonna-
You're just trying to stunt, Ashley.
That was gonna be mine. I would say a Will Eisner like splash page for the Spirit, because all of those look like they could be posters, you know. And the both of these are David Mazzucchelli. The page where Bruce Wayne is in the study and the bat flies through the window and he's like, "Yes, Father, I shall become a bat."
Awesome.
Classic.
That one.
Mm-hmm.
And the other Mazzucchelli page I would want is where Kingpin's just looking out the window in Born Again, and it's that dialogue where they're reporting, and it's "There is no corpse. There is no corpse.
Oh yeah,
There is no corpse."
Want him with
Like,
Daredevil hitting him in the gut with the billy club when he's in a big purple speedos.
take this, fatty. You hot dog eating son of a bitch.
Damn.
Okay, if we're getting no money, let me do one more. Give me a devil dinosaur. Give me a Jack Kirby
There you go.
devil dinosaur.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
For anyone that's not familiar, by the way, Heritage Auctions is now the world's largest collectibles auctioneer. Like they finally hit. I think last year they hit like their 1 billion mark in sales, and the comic book and comic art category sales alone reached $108.6 million of like sales, which for them was like 117% increase in what they were originally making. So to say that comic book original art is a hot commodity at this point would be an understatement. Matter of fact, last year they ended up selling a Jack Kirby Doctor Doom cover art for Fantastic Four number 86 for $480,000, which made it the highest price ever paid at auction for an original artwork by our man fucking Jack Kirby. So it's a good story to highlight because I think that stuff's only going to keep going up, and I think it's safe to say comic art is much more rare than
Yeah, so this set a precedent. If this is going for $3 million, now what's Kirby going to go for now? Jeez.
Actually, do you keep all your original art? Like, and you add as well. Like, do y'all keep your original art?
That I keep most of it. I've sold some stuff here and there, and I don't own that much. Like I have like a Alex Savaic X-Files page.
Ooh.
Oh.
I have like a Tula Latay page from that Bodies book that she did.
I don't have that much.
But I think that's it.
One of my goals this year, and especially if I go to Heroes Con, I think I'm gonna try to buy like my first original art piece.
I know some artists too. Last time I went, they actually will have like original pages available. I mean, not like big names, but some cool original art. A lot of the artists will have their pages for sale at shows.
All right, Ashley, thank you so much for getting us started. Ed, I'm going to go to you, man, because your story is about one of Ashley's favorite creators and homeboys.
Our buddy, Jeff Lemire. Image announced that he signed an exclusive deal. So basically what that means is he is kind of off the work-for-hire market. Essentially, anything print is going to go through Image. He does have a Substack account, which I had to look up because I wasn't familiar with it. Basically, that's kind of like a online a lot of writers have been using it to kind of full control, of their creations and properties and kind of sell them as like spec scripts and things to people. But he's basically going to keep doing that. That'll be his exclusive kind of online works. But if anything he does on Substack goes to print, it's going to be through Image. Of course, Swamp Thing Green Hell just started this month, so he's wrapping that up. And as far as the Black Hammer series with Dark Horse, he's going to wrap that up, and that's going to stay. Any kind of Black Hammer related, material is going to stay through Dark Horse. It's one of those things. It sounds cool, but I think Jeff Lemire is one of those guys. He has enough clout at this point. I don't know if that's how binding that can be. Is he if DC comes up with a dump truck full of money to do a Batman series? And say,
I'm not made of steel.
It's like, yeah, I'm a man. And say that, oh yeah, you can draw too. And that's the thing too. He really put the emphasis on, I will be drawing my own books and, also working with artists. So I was hoping Todd would put his foot down and say, come on, give me a little Todd. Come on, bud. No drawing, bud. Well, you're a good writer, bud. Let's keep it at that. It's like, that's the deal. I was hoping that was the deal, but he insists on drawing.
Well, he heard all that shit Ashley was talking. He was like, I can prove her wrong.
And I wasn't as adamant against his artwork, but I think I'm finally seeing the light that Ashley is shining. It's just, I've seen it and I've seen enough of it. And please. And like
and
I
it's
said,
not improving.
No.
It's
No.
not like expanding and getting better.
That's the thing. He doesn't have to because they're going to let him do what he wants.
Jeff Lemire. My man's getting paid regardless.
And it's hire an artist, man. You're writing 30 books. You can afford to hire an artist.
And we're kind of, at least I'm joking. Ashley's not, for the record, Jeff Lemire, if you're listening. But he's already announced 2 projects upcoming projects over at Image.
Born Orchard?
One of Dustin Nguyen.
Yep.
And then one of Andrea Sorrentino. So
which, like I said, I've liked pretty much everything I've read of him. And that team is like the Old Man Logan team and the Gideon Falls team. So that's probably going to be at least, really sharp looking book. So more stories of like priests with a crisis of faith and some magical barns and, some, comic tropes. So we have all that stuff to look forward through Image. But like I said, it's one of those stories it's kind of a we'll see, because he's kind of in a pretty good position. Like I said, he writes at least a dozen books right now. And he doesn't seem
as a regular Brian Michael Bendis.
Damn, I was just thinking that. He's a workhorse.
Yeah, and it's like, and they're all consistently pretty. Like I said, he's probably one of my favorite contemporary writers. I've enjoyed pretty much everything he's written, even the stuff he's drawn, but I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it anymore.
Does it ever do anything for you when a creator ends up becoming, company exclusive or a company man? Like in this instance, like, does it do anything for you that Jeff Lemire is only going to be writing or working on Image stuff?
No, because like I said, I tend to, if I like an artist, I don't care what the banner he's working for is.
Same.
And like I said, unless it's like Avatar or something really horrible looking, but like I said, I don't, it doesn't, I don't take that into account. Like I said, if he has a new title coming out, I'm going to get that first issue. There's one that he just came out with, I think May's book or something like that he's drawing, and I didn't get that one. But I'll pretty much get whatever. If it's an artist I like, if a writer I like, it doesn't matter to me who they're working for. I'm not like, I'm not an elitist as far as, brands, I prefer if they did it through like an Image, because I know there'll be less tampering, ideally, and more creative.
Oh, you're breaking up, Ed. It sounds like you're talking shit about Marvel. You're breaking up.
Well, I'm just saying, imagine a world where Jeff Lemire is Marvel exclusive.
Oh, poor bastard.
But I'm in the same boat too. Jeff Lemire, it's like, I don't really care where you're at, because more than likely you're one of those like you said, writers where it's worth picking up at least the first issue, because his level of output and quality is always there. Yeah. Or he's got a track record of putting out quality
Definitely.
stuff. So good stuff. On the topic of Image, I'll share my story, and it is the news that Astro City is coming back.
Hallelujah.
Absolutely, hallelujah. Starting with a one-shot comic that Image Comics will publish March 30th. For those not in the know, Astro City is a superhero anthology comic series that's centered on a fictional American city of the same name. It was created and written by Kurt Busiek. The series is mostly illustrated by Brent Anderson, but you get some character designs and painted covers by Alex Ross.
Every cover is Alex Ross.
Yeah, and honestly, some of his best stuff. Like, I think some of his Astro City stuff could easily go toe to toe with any of his other work for any other publisher. But
is it the same creative team, Botter?
Yeah, which is pretty cool, right? Like, normally when you see like a title, like, Astro City has been out since first came out in 95, ended in 2018, super long run. And for a series like that to return with the same creative team, Kurt, Brent, and Alex Ross, is like, oh shit, we got the band back.
Wildstorm originally?
So they started with Image in 95, moved to I think it's Homage Comics, and then went to Wildstorm, and then Vertigo was, I think, the last place it was at.
Vertigo, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But last year, in October, Kurt Busiek announced, hey, Astro City's coming back. We're going back to Image. So the news came out last month or a few weeks ago that they had the name of the one shot. So it's going to be called Astro City. That was then. It's written by like I said, the original team: Kurt Busiek, Brent Anderson, Alex Ross, Alex Sinclair is going to be involved. It's going to feature new and old characters it's going to feature new and old characters and introduce like a whole new mystery that'll run through the upcoming storyline. Because like I said, Astro City is an anthology story, but every now and then they have like that one kind of main theme or story that connects a lot of the other ones. The kicker on top of that is that there's going to be a couple of variant covers done by Eric Larson, Marcelo Costa, Chip Zdarsky, and a few more. And I think that's to celebrate, this year's Image's 30th anniversary. So I think we're going to see a lot of it's going to be done in the style of that creator's artwork. So like the Eric Larson one is a Savage Dragon Astro City cover. The Chip Zdarsky one is a, what's the name of his series with Image? The Sex Criminals? Yeah, it's going to be like a Sex Criminals cover. So a lot of cool variant covers coming out. The other piece of Astro City news that's got me hype is that Image is also going to be publishing Astro City Metro book, and it's going to collect the first 3 years of the series same day, March 30th. So you're going to get a one-shot as well as the first collected edition. And I think C can vouch for me here. Finding the Astro City trade paperbacks, and I think there's 17 or 18 of them in total that collect that original run. Some of them get super fucking pricey. I mean, some of them start getting to like the hundreds and $200 range.
And it's always the weird numbered ones. It's not like the first one.
It's like the odd number
less
ones.
And less. Yeah.
So
the best way I can describe Astro City is it's basically deconstruction of superheroes without a cynical edge.
Well said. I agree with that.
Like where everybody out there is trying to establish themselves as some sort of, I get artistic credit because I can deconstruct superheroes. I'm looking at you, Garth Ennis. But it's, Alan Moore did it in Watchmen, and then everyone has been biting that for years. Yeah. So it's like, and I don't get it. Like, it's almost like the equivalent of Oscar bait, like when it's like, he made a movie. Was it Forrest Gump or it's Robert Downey Jr. makes a very, very compelling argument for that sort of thing in Tropic Thunder. He's like, you never go full retard, like that statement in itself is made because people know what will get them artistic credibility, and deconstructing superheroes has been sort of this sort of like, oh my God, I'm so tired. If I have to watch another thing, Invincible, The Boys, like, okay, we get it. Yeah. What if I took these superheroes? What is it? I saw a meme. I think it was on the Kayfabe site where it was like, it's like independent artists. My book is exactly like Batman, but he does cocaine and he fucks a lot,
Tim Vigil.
Astro City has like none of that cynicism, and it's more or less a dissection of the genre. And for some reason, it doesn't take away, it adds. It's my favorite series. It's the closest, I'm going to say it's the closest you can get to like original Stan and Jack.
Heavy praise, but well worth it.
That level of sort of operatic superheroes being humanized is fantastic.
Astro City was, I think, safe to say for me, the most standout thing I read when like the pandemic and lockdowns first happened. I happened to get a copy of Volume 1, the trade. And after overcoming the old Alex Ross switcheroo, where he's not doing the interiors, even though you see the covers, and getting used to Brent Anderson.
Should be used to that by now.
I know, I should have. But, my hopes were real high. I came to, like I said, after
Brent Anderson's no slouch. That guy has a style that's a lot like Neil Adams.
For sure. By the time, when I got, over that and like really into the series, I came to love Brent Anderson's artwork. I can't see anyone else doing it. But what I came to love the series for, it's got fresh characters. No characters feel the same at all. You get plenty of like deep character moments, and it's an anthology story, right? So it just never feels stale. Like you're not following the same story until it's beaten to death. It's just like always kind of fresh. And to Cesar's point, it's a great homage to the golden age of comics, as well as like superhero sensibilities. And like I said, but it never feels like the source material bogs it down.
It manages to take the best of DC and the best of Marvel and like mix them together somehow, right? Like you said, like they have a golden age superhero sensibility while also doing what Marvel does so best, was humanizing those types of characters. So
I've got high hopes for Astro City coming back. I definitely don't dread the news of like, oh, here we go again, cash grab. It's like Kurt Busiek to me is probably my favorite comic book writer. So if he's involved with it and he's bringing the old band back, like I'm looking forward to it. So March 30th.
He's your favorite, really?
I think it's safe to say, man. I think he's written I think everything he's written, I'm a really high fan of. Like from his from his Superman stuff to the Avengers stuff, Astro City. Like to me, he just does not miss. And I think
you're not going to get any arguments from me. He's mine. So
yeah.
I'm surprised you're still bummed out about the Alex Ross thing. You had 25 years.
Get him.
You've had 25 years to get over that.
But you know what it is? I knew how invested Alex Ross is with the series and how much he looks at this like, yo, this is my baby. And I was just
doesn't mean he's doing pages anymore.
I know, Ed. Damn, can I dream? Can I dream? But anyway,
I don't do pages anymore.
This news got me to thinking. I was curious to hear from you guys. What defunct, out of print, or comic series currently in limbo would you all like to see return to publication? And I'll go to C to kick us off for that one.
So mine's going to be crazy and off the wall. It's going to be Slapstick, the Marvel character.
The Marvel guy?
Yeah, he's a little cartoon.
Oh, my God.
Yep, I went there. I loved it when I was younger. It's like a little 6-part miniseries or whatever. I can't remember how many. It was just bizarre. That's just like an actual like cartoon existing. Like the guy gets turned into a freaking 2D cartoon a la Who Framed Roger Rabbit in the Marvel universe. It's just ridiculous, and it scratches every weird itch I have.
Would you want to see the original creative team return or a fresh?
Yeah, of course, because they did bring it back for a little bit. Like they tried. It just, I don't know. I don't know why it didn't work for me, but I think it would be just fun.
Cool. What about you, Ashley? What's a comic series you wish would come back?
Well, I was thinking the one that I can't stop thinking about. It actually
Saga's coming back. Okay,
Saga
it's coming back this month.
So,
Okay.
in 2015, Warren Ellis and Tula Lotay announced that they were going to do a horror comic together for Image called Heartless. And like once a year, I check on the internet and they're both like, yeah, we're still doing it.
What?
And It's been like going on year 6 or 7 that I'm still waiting on this comic.
Oh, wow.
So like reading old articles and they're both swearing. They're like, yeah, we're still working on it.
Have you tried harassing them on Twitter every day?
No, I haven't. Maybe that's the key.
That's cool. All right. I didn't know about that one. Now I'm going to be on the lookout, and maybe I'll become just as obsessive. Ed, what about you, man? What's the series you wish would come back?
Can I do a double Art Adams
Ooh,
double feature?
Come on. It's Art Adams. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's never going to do this, but I would love him to revisit, or at least do a nice one shot of the Monkey Man and O'Brien, which is like basically his Fantastic Four homage.
Yeah.
And he did another one. It was a backup story in Tom Strong called Joni Future, which is basically Adam Warlock meets Barbarella. So it's Cheesecake Future, shenanigans. Loved it. I think it's probably his best art, and not just because of the cheesecake stuff, Ashley. I see your judgmental eyes. But I'd love to see that as like just a collection or another like one shot, just a couple of one shots. That's all I need. That's all. Like, come on, Adam.
That's all he's asking, Adam.
That's all. He's another cover guy. He's never doing pages anymore.
No, he's been killing it on the.
He does so many covers.
I think he's Marvel exclusive now, and his covers have been crazy. So, all right, good stuff. C, I'll look to you to close us out, man. What's the last news piece you got for us?
Sure. So, like, the news that I found was I've been on a Daredevil kick recently my entire life. And they had just sort of kind of showcased this sort of article I read where Vincent D'Onofrio kind of confirmed why Netflix canceled Marvel's Daredevil, essentially. And if you guys watched Hawkeye, you know that, Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin is now in the MCU.
I couldn't be more happier to see him and that Hawaiian t-shirt.
Dude, rocking the, what is it, Delato?
Spider-Man, Family Business.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
And Matt Murdock. Is that spoiler? Is it?
Nah, by now, if you don't know, our boy Charlie Cox is also in the MCU.
They're both in the
as
proper
motherfucking Matt Murdock.
MCU proper, right. I guess. Yeah.
Ooh, MCU proper.
Yeah. So, they essentially asked him like, yo, what happened? And he confirmed what everybody kind of already knew. And it's that, it got canceled because Disney Plus was on the horizon.
Yeah.
And there's nothing really nefarious. Like all the stars of the show, to include Charlie Cox and Deborah Ann Woll, were like super bummed. And but they also were kind of like, we get it. Just don't make us wait too long because we got fucking
nothing personal. It's just business.
It's just funny because it's like they all kind of understand, but there's that weird sort of limbo where it's like, all right, but like, are you bringing everybody back? You know, like, I mean, I hope you are, because you know that was a, and how are you bringing it back? Are you going to, you know, keep the show as it is, sort of the weird, sort of, you know, dark, street level kind of show, or is it going to change? You know, even though the aesthetic was, yeah, I mean. Well, I mean, it was successful. Everybody liked it, so it's kind of like
Jessica Jones
what's
won't
going
be on
to
Plus, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So they, you know, he basically was like, yeah, like I get it, I understand. You know, we were on the chopping block, but at the same time, there's that uncertainty of, you know, hey, good things go away.
I'd be curious to know how much did the I want to say fan outrage, but like the fan voice and support. You know, where like the fans were like, "Hey, bring back Daredevil," or they had to.
Well, there was a hashtag Save Daredevil
yes,
campaign.
That too. Yep.
So like the hashtag Save Daredevil campaign happened almost like right after.
Yeah, they announced it was on
like season 3 was done, and they were like, "Yeah, we ain't bringing it back." And it was like, "What?" Like, I think a lot of eagle-eyed sort of like fans kind of made the assumption that okay, Disney Plus is probably going to scoop them up somehow.
The Iron Fist show was so bad; it took everything else down with it.
I know. Damn you, Danny Rand. And
Dude.
the like, I know there's been since you know with Matt Murdock showing up on Spider-Man, there's been a renewed, you know, like said that's becoming like another, you know, the Spike. People are revisiting Daredevil. You know,
so like Daredevil, the Netflix series is like seeing a spike in views.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Cesar's a prime example.
It's all me,
right?
actually.
Yeah, let's say.
me.
See, you just started rewatching it this weekend, right?
Yeah, I did.
How are you enjoying it? This is like what, your fucking 3rd, 4th, 5th viewing by now?
Well, the thing is, I you know, most people I've noticed that, you know, when they are, you know, expecting a child, they'll hold like headphones up to the belly and say, "Oh, this is classical music," or "Here's this." I'm sitting here fucking letting my kid listen to Kingpin rant about Hell's Kitchen, you know, like I'll be like, "Come here, honey, come here, we're watching Daredevil." And
the
my
scene where
wife's
he's
like,
slamming that dude's head in the car door.
"Oh yeah, keep kicking him, keep kicking him," you know, like he's just like, "This city deserves men like my father, and this filth of a city." And I'll just be like, "Oh, she's kicking. Oh, she loves it. She's like, oh my god,
it's my little Elektra. He's gonna be awesome.
Yes, yeah. My goal is to get as fat as the Kingpin and be bald, and then just when she's born, I'll just like walk around in like fucking ice cream colored suits with Hawaiian shirts.
See, I will support you on this journey.
Oh, my
Thank
God.
you, Ed. Thank you.
Cesar's child's first words are going to be Franklin Percy Nelson.
I kind of like Electra Cordero. That sounds like a cool
Yeah,
name.
that's
Electra
pretty sick.
Cordero. It's a solid name.
I like it. It's a solid
I
name.
like it.
Actually, her full name will be Matthew Murdock Electra Cordero. So that's what we're going. A nice, strong American name.
Remember, that is a Patreon exclusive perk, right? All of our patrons have a chance to
name
vote.
my child.
Yeah, to name Cesar's child. Look, I'm happy Vincent D'Onofrio is back. I'm happy
Charlie Cox.
Charlie
is
Cox.
back.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Charlie Cox is back. I'm waiting. I wouldn't mind if they brought Mike Coulter back as well.
Well, think
as the
about
kid.
this
I think
too.
he deserves
I mean, wow, is it Eldon Hansen? Is the guy who plays Foggy? Right? I think that's his name. He's got Disney chops. He was freaking in the Mighty Ducks, so it's not the first time he's worked for Disney.
That's a good point. And I mean, of course, if they don't bring back John Bernthal,
He's outside the office screaming that. I was in Mighty Ducks.
I was in Mighty Ducks. I was one of the Bash brothers.
Was he in the series, the Mighty Ducks series on Disney Plus? Did you watch that?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
Ashley, who do you want to see from the Netflix MCU era come back? Is there one key actor?
I still think that my favorite show was the very first season of Jessica Jones. Like that was like my top
that's a
one.
solid one.
Like
Good
I
one.
loved everything about that first
love
season.
her.
And then of course like
I
all
mean,
the
I love
Daredevil
that
ones are
character.
right after, but
I was actually trying to sell my wife on Jessica Jones because she's like, I want to watch it. I just don't know anything about it. And I was kind of like, well, And then it was the stupidest thing ever. Why did I do it? Like, I just went into like, well, let me tell you about Marvel Knights and how that led to Marvel Max.
Oh, no.
And she's just like, what? And I was like, yes, Alias, not to be confused with the TV show.
You can hear the divorce papers being written up right now.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Just rustling in the wind. My marriage is gone. My child will never know who I am. I will turn into the Kingpin and attempt to.
You can hear the baby groaning in the belly too, like
Oh yeah, she's
Dad.
like, not again, nerd.
That's a good one. All right, good topic. See, I like that one. All right, I got one more to share, and only because we spend so much time on highlighting comic book cartoons and animated shows, I thought we'd be remiss if we didn't bring up the news that absolute badass comic writer Ed Brubaker has joined the creative team behind the new and upcoming Batman Caped Crusaders, the new animated series in the works at HBO Max and Cartoon Network. I didn't know Cartoon Network was involved, but that makes sense. As some of you might remember, at last year's DC Fandom event, they had announced that, animation vet OG Bruce Timm is show running and executive producing this new Batman animated series. It's also going to have executive producers like J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves, who's directing the new Batman movie, as well as James Tucker. He's going to be a co-executive producer. So a lot of heavy hitters as far as the production and show running phase side of the house. And now you got Ed Brubaker, who's going to be a head writer on this new series. He's going to be running the writer's room along with Bruce Timm. They did put out a little more information in the article I've seen of announcing Brubaker, but the first season will be 10 episodes. And they're saying that the goal of it, I think this is directly from Bruce Timm, this quote here, but Bruce Timm says the goal of it is, quote, once again, reinvent Batman and his iconic rogues gallery with sophisticated storytelling, nuanced characters, and intense action sequences all set in a visually striking world, end quote. I don't know, have you guys seen like I think they've only got one piece of like art from it, but it's like Batman in the his old school uniform or costume. He's got like the ears, the cape and all that. Have you guys seen that at all?
No.
Oh, man. I'll see if I can't share it in this group, but it looks fantastic. Obviously, Bruce Timm, it looks like it's like a watercolor too, just black and white. So I'm curious if the whole show will be set in black and white. Probably not.
Are they going to paint it, do it all on black paper?
Yo, I hope so, man. But even Ed Brubaker obviously is super excited. I mean, he quotes, Batman the Animated Series and Bruce Timm's influence being a major role on his, a career as a comic book writer, but also the reason why he ended up writing, that Catwoman series with Darwin Cook. There's a quote from him here I wanted to share. But Ed Brubaker on the topic of this show and talking with J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves and everyone, he's saying that quote, their vision for the show of a slightly more pulpy take on the character and a new way of looking at the world of Gotham. It's set in the past, but viewed through a modern lens is what really sold me. And so far, every part of it has been a blast to work on. I can't wait until the rest of the world can see what we've been building the last few months in the writer's room. All I can say, it's not what anyone is expecting, but in a good way, end quote. So
yeah, I think I like it. Cool. I like that it's only 10 episodes for right now. So it's not like cartoons back in the day where you had to fill out a
22 episode season.
We're crazy. So you get a lot of just throwaway shows, unfortunately.
Right.
And this will be cool because it's like these guys, like I said, to keep using this term, but they have enough clout they don't have to have no one's going to give them notes. This is not going to be really aimed at kids like the original show was, so this should be something.
40-year-old men.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And I mean, I think it's safe to say, Brubaker obviously talks about his appreciation and respect, but I can only imagine that J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves, James Tucker are also looking at Bruce Timm.
Imagine like Brubaker doing like revisiting like The Gray Ghost. That was one of my favorite.
That's a good episode.
Yeah.
Well, on the topic of that, I wanted to ask you guys, I know we've shared this before on our Batman animated series episode for Pilot's License, but just wanted to rehear it and, hear you guys talk about it since we're on the topic of Batman. But what are some of your favorite episodes of Batman the Animated Series that come to mind immediately? Ed, you mentioned the Gray Ghost being one of your favorite ones.
Yeah, Gray Ghost, just because you get to see, in that world, what inspired Batman, and it was Adam West, right? He was the voice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was just cool seeing him paying homage to, a hero of his and kind of patterning, his his being his superhero lifestyle after him. And, the default, I think, is like, Heart of Ice. That's like
that's probably my favorite one.
That's going to be.
I mean, it's the one that won the Emmy.
Favorite. Yeah, and I guess third, I'd like pretty much. I forgot the names of them, but the Clayface ones I thought were really good.
Feet of Clay.
Yeah, where when he's pretending he has no control over it. I really liked how they portrayed
Ron
Clayface.
Perlman.
Yeah, that's
nice.
Those are probably
Matt Hagen's dead. Make him stop haunting me.
Those are probably my
That's a good
three
one.
favorites.
I agree. Heart of Ice is one of my favorite ones. I didn't know it won them a daytime Emmy at that. That's how good that episode was. I'll add Over the Edge is one of my favorite ones. The one where,
that's
Barbara Gordon has the dream that she falls off the building, and Batman and James and Commissioner Gordon are going at it the whole time. Great episode. Hell, in that fight with Bane, that Batman and Bane in that episode was insane. Commissioner Gordon is just a scary motherfucker when he's mad. Ashley, what about you? What are some of your favorite Batman animated series episodes?
I'm trying to think because I really just watched this recently.
Oh, we know. We got it all on that episode. We got it all recorded.
Yeah,
There
just
was a
picking
Batman
out little
cartoon?
episodes. I think my favorite one is still the one where Wonder Woman gets turned into the pig,
Whoa, that's Justice League.
I think that's
and then he
Justice League.
sings at the end.
Yeah, I think that's the
That's
Justice
the
League
animated
episode.
series, right?
Wow.
No, I think that one's the Justice League series.
Oh boy.
Is
You
it?
cut this out.
Yeah.
Cut this out.
I mean,
Shut up, Ed.
This part out. I'm trying to think because I started watching both of them because I hadn't watched either of that. No, I'd watched Justice League,
Hold up. I'm looking
but
at
I've been
that
watching.
episode.
Well, no, in Ashley's defense, when the show got moved to the WB, the art style changed, and it 100% looked like the same show.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. So, and Batman had the same uniform as he did.
Yeah, because
in
they're
the
giving
Justice League.
Superman a present, right? Was that the whole premise of the story? They were going to give Superman a present, and then things go amiss, or am I thinking of something else?
I think that's a different one.
It's to shoot Ashley even more bail. It is a Batman-centric episode. I get it. But the episode you're talking about, Ashley, is from Justice League Unlimited. Is the 5th episode of the first season, titled "This Little
Fucking
Piggy."
Ed.
What's the one that we had to watch where it was the first appearance of the Man Bat or something?
That was episode 1.
That's the very first episode on Leathery
That's
Wings.
the very first episode.
That's the one.
Okay.
I like
Yeah,
that
I've
one.
seen that one. That one was great.
I like
It's
it.
the only one I watched.
See, what are some of your favorite episodes? I know yours will probably be really good.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the one that pulls the heartstrings the most is the one Ed mentioned, the Gray Ghost. Beware the Gray Ghost. It's so, so good. Just the idea that it also mirrored Adam West's life in real life. It was he couldn't get acting roles. Everybody was like, you're Batman. He's like,
Typecast,
no,
yeah.
I'm an actor. I can do other things. And he says it in the show. I think his character's name is Simon Trent. And, he's trying to hawk, merchandise from the Gray Ghost TV show in order to pay his, rent. It's so sad. And there's a crazy terrorist, holding Gotham at bay with, Gray Ghost episode themed crimes, and Batman decides to try and pry, some info out of Simon Trent's mind, and he's just like, look, I need your help. I could use the Gray Ghosts, and he, Batman meant it like a metaphor, right? And, Simon Trent just got so sick of no one wanting him. He's like, I'm not the Gray Ghost. And then Batman just kind of turns around and is like, yes, I can see that. And then just jumps out the window and you're like, oh,
Never meet your
my God.
heroes.
Right. It's so good. And I think that one, and I really enjoyed the Ra's al Ghul episodes.
Batman fighting shirtless, but with the mask on.
Oh, that is a sexy look.
It is.
Yeah,
That's
the
a good
Demon's
look.
Head, I think is what it's called.
Is that the one where he just rolls up in his Batcave and he's like,
yes.
"Hello, detective. Who else
almost-
could it be? I mean, really, you're the only possible person could be Batman."
Yeah. It's almost a panel for panel swipe of the Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams
classic.
story. It's beautiful. Right down to Robin being kidnapped, all that stuff. And David Warner, doing the voice of Ra's al Ghul is perfect. I mean,
he didn't have Neil Adams' trademark hairy Batman chest though.
no, it's true. It's true.
So wait,
It was a different time. Everyone was shaving.
Ed just described Ra's al Ghul like Charlie Murphy, like Charlie Murphy and Rick James. Fuck your couch, Batman. All right, good stuff. All right, Shortbox Nation, I'm going to turn the tables on you and ask for you to chime into the conversation and tell us if we missed any worthwhile or important comic news from this month. I know it's only been 3 weeks into the new year, but there's been a lot of headlines flying around, as you can tell, and I'd like to know if there's a piece of news you think that should be mentioned. Write us a short email to read next episode. You can send your email to theshortboxjacks@gmail.com. We're going to move on to our first regular recurring segment, Fistful of Comics. We'll be talking about some of the best new comic books on the shelves right now.
You can either have a mouthful of teeth or a fistful of comics.
And those are your two choices, Shortbox Nation. Not too much to choose from. Either violence or literature. All right? Make your selection. But anyways, Fistful of Comics is the part of the show dedicated to all you Wednesday warriors who loyally frequent your local comic shops every week. Think of this as a show and tell highlighting only the best new comics on the shelves right now. This segment is brought to you by Gotham City Limit, Jacksonville's premier shop for comics, toys, collectibles, and more. If you live in the area or ever find yourself passing through Jacksonville, stop by the shop on Southside Boulevard and tell them the Shortbox sent you. And since this episode does mark the return of the Shortbox Empress, I'd like to have Ashley help us kick off this segment. Ashley, what's the best new comic you've read this month?
Okay, so it's actually a Vault comic, which kind of surprised me, but it's called Radio Apocalypse.
Oh, that's awesome.
Ooh. And we got visual, too, for all you patrons watching the video.
I grabbed it because it looked really cool. I don't really think I'm reading anything else Vault, and it's written by Ram V, who has done so much stuff
that dude
recently.
Is killing it. He is killing it.
Yeah. He's doing so much good. Like that Future State stuff. Like he had me reading like Catwoman, Swamp Thing, like DC Future State, which I was like, oh, I'm not going to get into this. It's just a stupid money grab. And then I'm like reading everything he's writing. But it's really cool. Like it's another apocalypse book, but it kind of centers around this broadcasting station, like the only one left in the world. So everybody that's left is listening to the same thing, which is kind of a cool idea. And the art style is really weird. Like it's like beautifully colored, but it's also like ugly at the same time. So it's I don't know.
I've been described the same way.
But it has like this like apocalyptic like tone to it. Everything about this book I just really, really got into.
Good stuff.
So and that was just like a browsing through the shelves and just grabbed it.
Yeah,
it looks like every page kind of has that monochromatic thing, like a theme to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like some pages are more like very, very fluorescent green, and you turn the page and it's like sort of like a fluorescent sort of magenta color. That stuff reminds me of Steranko every time I see it.
Yeah.
I said I got it too. I haven't got a chance. It's on my pile of stuff to read, but I grabbed it because I just thought it looked cool.
And to your point about Ram V, he wrote The Mini Deaths of Layla Starr, which I think came out under Boom Studios last year. Yo, fantastic. And to see him, like, it feels like it's, you know, he's just been on fire lately. Like that Swamp Thing series that you were talking about has been on. I saw it on a lot of like end of year best comic lists. You know, he had a lot of comics on those lists. So thank you, Ashley. I appreciate it. I've got a list of 3 comics, Shortbox Nation, that you won't want to miss out on next month. Asked our good friend Ben Kingsbury, the owner of Gotham City Limit Comic Shop, to provide a list of his top 3 must-have comics. So let's go and cue up the music and see what he's got for us this week. For starters, he's got a one-shot from DC Comics called Milestones in History. Ben writes, celebrate Black History Month with this awesome-sounding comic about true stories of black trailblazers from across human history, done the comic way. It's a tribute comic that doesn't feel like a money grab, so I'll definitely take it. I know Reginald Hudlin is involved, as well as writer and music journalist Torre, which I used to follow him a lot on like MTV and shit. So that's number 1. Number 2 on Ben's list comes from Marvel Comics. It's called Carnage Forever, number 1. In the words of Ben, all they had to say was carnage. Check out all the available variant covers and get your pre-orders in ASAP. I know the first issue boasts an awesome assembly of creators like Philip Kennedy Johnson. Ram V is involved with this one, so that's cool to see his name everywhere now. Ty Templeton is also involved in this, and artist Edgar Salazar. So that was Carnage Forever number 1. And the last recommendation to come from Ben this week is Death of Doctor Strange, Bloodstone #1. Ben shares one of the hottest comics of this short year so far, and a second chance to get the first appearance of Lyra Bloodstone, the long-lost sister of Elsa Bloodstone. So I guess this is like the second printing that he's highlighting. So obviously, Ben always does a good job of figuring out which comic book's going to go to reprint and things or whatnot. For anyone unfamiliar with the character Elsa Bloodstone or the Bloodstone family, they actually appeared in Marvel's Bloodstone miniseries in 2001, written by some of my favorite writers, Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning. Elsa is supposed to be the daughter of a longtime Marvel character, Ulysses Bloodstone, and he's just like an immortal monster hunter.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Van Helsing character because she's tied in with like the Legion of Monsters series too.
So I guess they introduced like a sister for her now. But I remember in 2015 when the Secret Wars event was going on, and they had like all those Marvel Battle World spin-off stories. There was one for Marvel Zombies that was written by Simon Spurrier, Robert Kirkman. It had art by Sean Phillips and Kev Walker, and it just centers around Elsa kind of being like the zombie handler for the Marvel Zombies and the Secret Wars universe. Really good at that. So once again, those titles from Ben were Milestones in History #1, Carnage Forever #1, and Death of Doctor Strange, Bloodstone #1. So put those titles on your pull list next time you're at your comic shop, especially if you don't want to miss out. Ben wouldn't steer you wrong, and most of them have a final order cutoff date of January 24th. With that out the way, we're going to go on a short music break, all right? Before we read this week's emails, we got a whole bunch of them based on our Star Wars prompt 2 weeks ago. So we'll read those and share our champion picks for this week. Mecca the Marvelous, one half of our music team, is providing this week's music. It's an instrumental called Deception. It's another one off his latest project, A Store on the West Side, which is available everywhere you listen to music. Stay tuned. We'll be right back to business after this short break. All right, Shortbox Nation, once again, the music you just heard was by Mecca the Marvelous. Check out his new project, now available on Spotify, Apple Music, or support his music directly on Bandcamp. We got a link to his entire discography in the show notes. And now it's time for one of my favorite segments when it comes to this show, are the emails. We got a good handful of emails from you based on our Star Wars prompt, like I said, 2 weeks ago. And I'm sure the inclusion or the announcement of the prize we have today probably prompted a lot of you to write in. So I'll turn it over to Cesar to go ahead and get us started. I think we got, 1, 2, 3, 4 emails to read? So
we got a lot.
Hit it.
For sure. Okay, here we go. Let's start with our boy T-Mix. Subject is Star Wars EU. He starts out with, I felt dirty doing that. ¿Qué pasa, cajita? ¿Cómo están? Which translates to, what up, short box? How are you?
Hell yeah.
Or little box, technically. I'm always amazed at C's recall ability, but I see how it is, compadre. For the non-elites, C asked about my signature. Solo soy un pinche dinero, eh, güey? Which translates to, I'm just a fucking paycheck to you, huh, bro? If you go back to the Jon Stewart Justice League Spotlight, Botter put out my government name, then a.k.a. T-Mix, as a new patron sub. To which if memory serves, you responded with, suck my butt. Also sounds like me, yeah. So, all good. He said, because I loved how much respect you put on the EU last week. The EU is my head canon for everything that exists in the universe post Return of the Jedi. Disney trilogy be damned. My jumping on point to the EU was the N64 games Shadows of the Empire and Rogue Squadron when I was 11. And C's right about the lowbrow art, as then I got into the Thrawn trilogy, but my parents frowned on the Dark Empire comics as they didn't view it as highly as the books. Joke's on them. I read them at some point anyways, LOL. I continue with games like Knights of the Old Republic and Jedi Academy. I find it interesting that Ed said he couldn't get into the novels because of no pictures.
Yeah, that's true.
You fucking man
That's
child.
true. I got a lot of unread books in my house. No pictures.
Stackpole's X-Wing series is some of the best because as a kid, it was always easy to imagine the massive space battles. No different than playing with my toys, LOL. But hey, whatever floats your boat. And as for the EU, as for being an EU nerd, here's a picture of my EU book collection, including Thrawn Trilogy, Thrawn Duology, The New Jedi Order, Legacy of the Force, which Boba Fett is a central character, and Fate of the Jedi. And he sent this picture of a ginormous Star Wars Expanded Universe library. Wrapping up.
Oh, wow.
Here are my EU recommendations. First, the Dark Lord Trilogy by EU legends James Luceno and Matt Stover. And if you have time for one book, I strongly recommend Revenge of the Sith, especially if you can get it on audiobook. It's what the movie should have been. Interesting. Okay. Second, the Star Wars Legacy comics. And then he closes out with, Vaya pues hasta la próxima, a los mejores presentadores de podcast y Botter. Wow, that's fucking jacked up. So he's like, anyway, until next time, to the best hosts in this podcast and Botter.
Whoa.
And then he put,
Wait a minute.
no mames, Botter. Like, don't fuck with me. It's weird. These terms are kind of weird to translate in English. Like, mames literally means like, don't suck my dick, essentially.
Don't suck his dick. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so
Which
glad
is
he
like-
warned me against it.
But basically, like, I'm assuming I'm going to go on a limb here and assume that you are of Mexican descent. In which case, orale.
Viva la raza. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Viva la
Hey,
raza, man.
And real quick, see, what were the Star Wars Expanded Universe recommendations he gave again?
The Dark Lord trilogy,
Okay.
Revenge of the Sith, the book adaptation, and the Star Wars Legacy comics.
Okay. Fantastic. Ashley, you weren't here for our Star Wars Expanded Universe episode, but I guess I was curious. Have you ever dabbled into like the Star Wars Expanded Universe stuff, or maybe any of the newer comics that came out in the recent years?
Not really. I saw that Jason Aaron was writing some of it, so I was interested.
Not just
but
some of it. That dude was writing like all of
it
it.
was all of it.
Yeah, it felt like.
Never got into it.
Okay. Got it. All right. So we got some recommendations from T-Mix. That's good. All right. Let's move on to our next email.
Sure. Next one comes from Corin Horn. He wrote, yeah.
Oh,
Man, they love it. See, I mean, you guys got gaslighting me like I'm crazy, like it's not cool. And look at our emails.
I'm gonna leave that there. Great first show of the new year, and may 2022 bring even more success and acclaim to the crew and podcast. Oh, thanks, man. The Star Wars EU was an oasis of new Star Wars content for fans who ask questions like, who was the bounty hunter that Han and Leia ran into in Ord Mantell? Or, now that the Emperor is defeated, how will the New Republic fully dismantle the Imperial remnant and defeat newly minted warlords trying to fill the power vacuum left by the Emperor? To say I was a little disappointed when Disney announced in 2014 that all the comics, novels, and games were not canon anymore is an understatement. Now, after all the movies and shows that Disney has produced, we can see that they are mining the EU, not doing away with and adding parts of it to a new Star Wars universe. From the Dark Trooper droids in the Mando Season 2 or Thrawn and Rebels, I will miss the EU, but it's fun to see what will pop up next. 2 recommendations for the EU for those that might be interested, and they come in the form of novels. First, here we go. Rogue Squadron. And these books are written by Michael A. Stackpole and Aaron Alston. All I have to say is Top Gun meets Star Wars. Wedge Antilles is better fleshed out than the 2-second cameo in Rise of Skywalker and the little screen time he gets in the original trilogy. Second, Jedi Academy trilogy by Kevin J. Anderson. It follows Luke as he reforms the new Jedi Academy and trains a new generation of Jedi. Well, again, great show and Keep up the great work.
Done deal. Yeah. Have you read any of those recommendations that Corn gave?
So I did read Rogue Squadron a long time ago. Like I was
Is there a
in junior high
homoerotic
school.
volleyball scene like Top Gun?
You're like playing with the boys.
Yeah.
I wish.
I don't want it then. I don't want it.
Unfortunately, no.
Oh.
No Kenny Loggins. Sorry, guys.
Automatic loss. All right. Thank you, Corn.
I lost that love and feeling.
Oh, boy.
All right. What's the next email we got, Steve?
This one comes from our good friend, Tony Ayupi. He wrote some Star Wars EU faves. Holy Spaceballs. Thanks for going on a deep dive of the Star Wars EU. I loved every minute of it. One of my favorite comics from the EU is Twin Engines of Destruction, which features Jodie Cast, a bounty hunter with a distinctly similar armor to Boba Fett. A favorite book is Vector Prime by R.A. Salvatore, which kicks off the New Jedi Order. And for those luminaries who understand about R.A. Salvatore, he is most famous for the Drist Duorden books that he wrote for D&D. Thanks for indulging in my Star Wars nerddom, which kicked into high gear when I hit puberty. It all started when I was hanging out with my uncle and saw a Ralph McQuarrie print of 6 bounty hunters in a copy of Star Wars Insider back in the early 90s. Thanks again, Tony Ayubi.
Damn,
you got it, dude.
I know Tony was pretty hyped to. I mean, granted, he's the one that kind of gave me the idea to do that Boba Fett and Star Wars Expanded Universe episode. But yeah, he showed a lot of love when the episode did drop. So shout out to Tony.
We got one more.
Hell yeah.
This one's from Andy Callahan. Subject is, I did it all for the Wookiee. All right. I listened to y'all's Boba Fett episode today, and I just got done watching the second episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Great show so far, especially since they've been talking about Boba Fett and Ben Kenobi shows for like 10 to 15 years. But the part where I got really excited was when Black Chrysanthemum showed up. I'm a big fan and collector of the Dark Horse comics. Blue Harvest was great, and Star Wars Tales was kind of like their what-if version. Honestly, I was pissed and skeptical when Star Wars went back to Marvel, but I really enjoyed a lot of the Marvel titles. The main title was good, Vader was great, and Dr. Aphra introduced me to some of my favorite new characters, an evil protocol droid, an astromech droid with torture gadgets, and the big, black, beautiful Wookiee, Black Chrysanthemum. He's got dreadlocks and a crossbow. He's from Kashyyyk, and he'll have you sweating like a Gupta on Mustafar. I can't wait to see what happens next. I appreciate y'all. Andy from Jack's Beach.
I like it.
Nice.
First of all, great email title for the record. I did it all for the Wookiee.
Well, he managed to keep it both Star Wars related and Jacksonville centric.
True. Which, I don't know, guys. You guys tell me. I'm kind of leaning towards. Let me back up. I did mention last episode. I was taking in prompts and recommendations for Star Wars EU content, and I said that one lucky emailer would win this here official collector's edition Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Ahsoka, a book, Gotham City Limit variant at that, because
nice.
Ben has a Gotham City Limit variant for everything. I'm kind of leaning towards Andy as far as winning this. I mean, great recommendations, great email title, and I mean the Jax, inserting Jax in there. I mean, how do you guys feel?
I think Noah should win it.
Wow. Wow.
Give it to me.
You greedy bastard.
Give it to me. I'm also rewatching Clone Wars, so give it to me.
Well, before I
give it to me, Butter. I told you just now. Stop trying to talk over me. Give it to me.
I will.
This is not a joke.
I will burn your copy if you say something else. Okay.
Oh my God.
Well, actually, before I announce the winner, I was curious. Now, at the time of this recording, third episode of Boba Fett has come out. How do you like the show now, or how do you feel about the show now?
Oh man. Oh well, funny you should ask. It was going to be one of my champions, so we can wait till then if you want.
Oh, okay.
Teaser.
Look at that, the love. All right. Well, look, I've got everyone's name loaded on a wheel of names, a randomizer, if you will. So we got T-Mex Corn and Tony Uppy and Andy. I'm hitting the wheel right now. Ed is my witness as far as who wins this one, fair and square. We're letting the fates decide.
Here we go.
Enough. Ed, if you don't mind announcing the winner, I hand you the envelope.
Corin?
That's right.
Corin.
Corn Horn. has won that. Corn, I'll get your
Horn.
My man even has a Star Wars name.
I know. That's
True. Corn, I will reach out and get your address and send you a copy of this. I appreciate you and everyone else that submitted an email and your recommendations. We did have 2 other emails, but just for time constraints, I'll save those for next week. So Matt and Zach, I'll read your emails next week. Don't think we forgot about you, all right? And that's our emails for today. We'd love to have some more to read next week, so feel free to share your thoughts or recommendations with us by writing a short email to theshortboxjacks@gmail.com. You guys know I'll probably have something to give away next week, especially considering Ben has yet another Gotham City Limit variant comic coming out. Yeah, the dude stays pumping them out. So
That's awesome.
but it's now time to champion our favorite entertainment picks from across the larger pop culture universe. Only the best of the best get talked about in this next segment. So I recommend you turn up the volume and pay close attention to what we're about to share.
Champion Season.
Champion Season is the part of the show where we highlight other worthwhile entertainment and recommendations that we feel deserves your attention. These can be much more than comics, but include movie picks, TV series, books, or video games, and anything else we're hyped on this week. This segment is brought to you by Black Hive Tattoo, Jacksonville's premier appointment-only custom tattoo studio. If you're searching for a group of talented artists who will work with you to bring your comic culture ideas to life, look no further. Go to blackhive-tattoo.com and sign up for their newsletter to find out when they're taking new project requests. They're always relatively booked, but the minute they have an opening, they do a really good job of communicating that out. So if you're looking for some comic book tattoos and just nerdy pop culture stuff,
just let them draw on your fucking skin, you idiots. They're so good at it. Why would you not do it, you idiot?
Let them do what they want.
Just let them do it.
Shut your
God,
mouth.
why are you waiting? Are you waiting? Go to Black Hive.
let them
fucking
put
dummies.
some random stuff on a random wheel generator.
Yes.
And just spin it.
Yeah,
Whatever
sit
you
there
get.
and take it.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. What are you gonna sit there by yourself and just fucking eat Cheetos and wear your marshmallow pants and hit the boohoo button every day? Come on.
Hey, dude, that's what I'm doing after this.
I'm sorry, Ed. Sorry,
No,
that was
okay.
a
It's
little too
okay.
close.
I know you
Too close.
wasn't personal.
Sorry.
No.
Chill.
You
Yeah.
told me in confidence. I
That's
didn't
it.
mean to.
Those marshmallow
Damn
pants
it.
are comfortable. I'm not gonna lie.
Ed, how about, man, you kick us off for champion season today? We're gonna be champion.
Man, I've been looking forward to this. Ordered it.
Ooh, a visual.
Oh, AWA. Let me tell you something, brother. Crimson Cage, AWA Upshot, written by a Scotsman, John Leese, and illustrated, I think, the Alex and Ashley Cormack, another husband and wife team.
Here we go.
Basically, this takes place in a fictional 1984 kind of territorial wrestling, but it's basically the story of Macbeth in basically.
That's awesome.
And this is why it's awesome. Basically, the main character is Chuck Frenzy, which is an awesome name, and his manager, valet, I think, love interest, Charlene. So basically, he's wrestles in a local kind of Louisiana circuit. So this is kind of parroting the old NWA system.
Nice.
With a lot of regional territorial promotions, and then the NWA as like the big promotion. So
Pre Vince McMahon Sr.
Yeah, and it's funny because this takes place in '84, and I think the expansion with the Junior, where he basically cherry picks all the best people from all the territories, is like '85. Right. So I don't know if that's going to play into this, if he's going to squeeze some kind of parallel.
Damn, Ed, you're selling me on this shit.
But so he wins the match. He's he's celebrating. He sees these three spirits. So if you're familiar with Macbeth, they're saying it's your destiny to become world champion. And then so he tells his love interest, his manager, and basically they jump right into, we got the champ is coming. Like it's kind of like a Ric Flair type of analog.
That's awesome.
We got to kill this guy so we can take his spot. Really ramped it up. So I'm kind of telling the whole story of the comic, but it's still worth picking up. But
spoiler alert, like a motherfucker.
Spoilers.
I mean, if you've read Macbeth, you kind of know what's happening.
You can see what's going on. So it's really clever. It's written by someone from Scotland, which I think is interesting, doing like a American wrestling, 80s wrestling thing, but with the Scottish, the Macbeth background. I think that's a pretty
right. I was
neat
about to
thing.
say, yeah.
It's almost, like Garth Ennis in Preacher, where he's writing the American Western, but through like Irish eyes.
Right.
Or is he Irish or Scottish? But yeah, you know what I'm saying.
They are letting them do whatever they want over at AWA.
It's awesome. The art's really cool. It fits it's a fun book. It's like wrestling fans will like it, but I don't think you have to be. But I think if you are a wrestling fan, you'll kind of get the kind of like inside terms and stuff like that. But it's what I recommend. Love it.
Good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Double, toil and trouble. Yeah. Dig it. Yeah.
Ashley, what about you? What are you going to champion today?
I'm going to champion Cobra Kai season 4. Came out on Netflix.
Oh, you guys have had nothing to do but watch TV.
Came out on December 31st. It was finished by January 2nd in my house.
Wow.
They filmed part of it in Atlantic Beach.
What?
Which I had no idea until
I thought you
the
were on the
opening
set.
scene.
You were going to tell us some stories.
It's pretty much the opening scene. It's like one of those big Atlantic Beach houses that you've seen before. So that was really cool. But it was, and I don't know, like nobody in it is like a great actor, but it like adds to it.
Ralph Macchio?
It's just so charming. I don't know. I think I'm gonna rewatch them all now.
Damn.
How would you sell this to someone who, I don't know, maybe didn't watch the original, like a Karate Kid?
I never watched the original
Are you
Karate
talking
Kid.
about Russians?
You haven't seen Karate Kid?
Communist China?
Wait a minute.
No.
No?
I've never seen. You know what's funny is
What about
I've never
Karate
seen
Kid 2?
any of the original Karate Kids.
What about 3?
And they'll be like, "Hey, remember when we did this?" And I'm like, "That looks crazy." Like from the old movies. I'm like, "That looks like an insane movie," but I've never seen any of them. But they do throwbacks all the time.
So I guess you answered kind of my question in the sense that you don't need to have watched or even remember the original Karate Kids. Even though
That's
I think Ashley
interesting.
should definitely do that.
Ashley's probably like, yo, that Daniel LaRusso's an asshole.
Yes.
Oh, wait till you find out.
It's just...
Wait till you see Mr. Miyagi. You're gonna be heartbroken. Oh my god!
It's just really, it like makes me feel good.
But
like
it's
it's
cool.
what I was looking for out of Ted Lasso, but I'm getting it out of this show.
I mean, you don't have to throw Ted Lasso into the bus to boost this one up.
Nope.
come
Ted
on.
Lasso sucks.
I haven't
even seen it, but I'm just
So,
Right.
do you want to watch the originals? Does this make you curious, or you don't care?
I'm happier watching the little scenes out of it where they're like, "Hey, remember when we like fought all these guys?" And I'm like, "That looks nuts!" Like that's all I need.
Who did the song? Is it Peter Cetera? I'll just watch the music video. Is it
Are you
Peter
talking
Cetera?
about Karate Kid 2? It was Chicago.
Chicago? Okay.
The man who will fight for your honor.
Yeah, just watch that video. You'll basically see the whole Karate Kid 2, the whole idea.
Okay, sounds good.
Ashley, you're probably my favorite co-host
Oh
to
my
learn
God.
more about. Like I feel like every week,
Oh yeah.
every month, I learn something interesting and new about you.
I got a headache now.
Ashley's like, oh, yeah? Yeah? I've been on this show like 500 years, fucker.
I haven't seen Batman. I haven't seen Karate Kid.
Ashley was busy living her life.
Yeah, true. I was about to say she's got a life. That's
Have
why.
you seen RoboCop?
I saw the newer one.
Oh my god!
I love it.
Leaving.
All right.
I love
Ashley,
it.
do
I
you got
quit.
Ashley? Do you got anything else to champion? You want to pass it to see?
I'll pass it. I'm done.
Okay, so my champions are a movie I just watched called Saint Maud. It's an
Sounds scary as
A24 film. It's fucking great. They've got like a 100 out of 100 track record as far as I'm concerned with all the movies they produce.
Is it slow? Is it
No.
slow and very nice looking and pretty?
It's straightforward and kind of psychologically unsettling.
Okay.
It's like a religious thriller, kind of, because there's a lot of. If you watch it, you'll know. I'm not going to spoil it, but Saint Maud's very good. I'm also going to champion Book of Boba Fett. I really enjoy it. I like how low stakes it is. Plus, as soon as you throw in Hutts, if you throw in like space slugs, I'm fucking take my money. I fucking love them. They're great. Sarah always laughs at me like, why do you I will rewind the scenes when they're on just because I like seeing these fucking gangsters roll up on a fucking litter and all these little dudes like, I can't hold them. And they're like,
Is there any female Hutts like the comic?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, really?
There's
Sisters in
a set of twins.
Oh god.
Both male and female, and the
Ooh.
female Hut fucking cracks me up 'cause she's always talking shit. Like, and she's got like a little fan, like she's this dainty sort of like lady. but she's this ginormous fat piece of shit space slug, and she's like, like
body shaming the Huts over here.
Hey, look, they're gangsters. I have no fucking regrets or guilt about it. They're horrible people. So that and a new Junji Ito book just dropped. It's called Deserter. I've been kind of picking away at that. I started it, and of course, lovely as usual.
Is it new stuff or is it still old stuff they just been?
It's his old stuff. It's his old stuff that they're basically sort of like introducing here in America. And it's going to sound like a weird champion, but my last champion is going to be Bobo Griffin, man. Fucking the friendly neighborhood nerd, a.k.a. Bobby Ledger, a.k.a. the Game Changer, a.k.a. the Bold City Beast. He does this thing on his Instagram page, and if you don't follow him, follow him. He's just does these vibe with me, and I'm going to tell you right now, I have a very stressful job.
Oh.
And on my Instagram feed, I like to look and see and catch up with all my friends. And I don't even know why I like it. It's literally just a dude standing, doing nothing, just vibing out to music.
Huh.
That's it. He just sits there, and it's not even long. He's like, here's a song I've been listening to. And it's just like,
and I don't know if I'm
that's all he does.
him. He's the wrestler guy, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Part of the Kiss It gang. Yes. Absolutely.
Big
yeah, man.
of the
So
show,
shout out to Bobo, man. Like, keep doing it, dude. That shit fucking calms me down.
Shout outs to Bobo big time. He
did one of us, didn't he? Didn't he do one of Shortbox music lately?
Well, he had a shirt. He was rocking the shirt. I was kind of like, shit.
Okay.
Yo, look, if
I saw something.
He would give David Morales a run for his money for being our number one diehard fan. All right, big shout outs to Bobo.
Then you got to pick up Crimson Cage, my man. You'll like this,
dude.
Good stuff. I can get behind all that. My two champions. I got two champions. One is a comic book, being Wonder Woman Historia #1. I think it's going to be a 3-part series, but I would specifically champion issue 1. It is being written by Kelly Sue DeConnick, art by Phil Jimenez. I wish I had the colorist right now. I'll try to pull that up, but it is a DC Black Label book, so it's the print version is oversized. Yeah. And of course, they get a little more leeway as far as the story they get to tell. And what Kelly Sue DeConnick is attempting to do is basically tell the entire story of the Amazons. The series starts a millennia ago with Queen Hera, along with the goddesses of the Olympian pantheon. It tells the story of how Hippolyta, is that how you say her name? Hippolyta crosses the Amazon's path, as well as her part in creating Wonder Woman. So essentially just, a complete revamp telling the story of Wonder Woman in the, the Olympian pantheon lore. But I really got to give props to Phil Jimenez and his artwork in this, because it is massive. It is he does not waste a page. I feel like he is channeling his best interpretation of George Perez in this instance.
Wow.
Every single page is jam-packed. Yeah. It is gorgeous artwork. I mean, from the character designs to some of the monsters he's drawing, as well as the background and environment and world that he's drawing. It's incredible. And I know there's a few I think there's 1 or 2 colorists involved in this, and I believe all of it is digital coloring. So sometimes, that's the only thing I will say, is sometimes that you've got so much going on the page, and the digital coloring is a little distracting, or it melds too much together.
Because you showed me this last week, and there's a lot of like 3D elements in it, like graphics that are kind of, and that gets kind of, it's a little jarring, but it's so much color, so much to look at. But it can be distracting, but it's still a beautiful book.
Now they do get you. Now I specifically champion the first issue because they are hitting you with the old rope-a-dope. Phil Jimenez is not going to be on the rest of the series. I think Gene Ha takes over in issue 2, which comes out in April, and I forget who takes over issue 3. But and that's not saying anything about the story. Kelly Sue DeConnick writes a really tight script, great dialogue and interactions between characters, and I gotta applaud her for taking on this story, right? Like to retell the whole story of the Olympian pantheon and Greek mythology and all of that in the Amazons, like massive undertaking, and she's killing it. So I'm looking forward to issue 2, but I got to give a spotlight to Phil Jimenez because his artwork is bonkers in this. Oh, and issue 3 actually is going to be done by Nicola Scott, who's not a lightweight at all. Neither is Gene Ha, but after watching Phil Jimenez, the bar is like here. You know, you just want to see him do more. So pick that up if you can. I know Historia issue 1 just ended up being like a sleeper. I think now that more people are getting onto it, it's getting kind of hard to find in physical, but I'd still recommend getting it digital if you can. And my other champion, kind of following along in the whole, mythology theme and whatnot, is a video game called Hades. This game has won 50 plus Game of the Year awards when it came out in 2020. It is an action dungeon crawler video game. It's published by Supergiant Games. It's essentially a hack and slash, right? You play. The main character is the son of Hades, Zagreus, and the whole goal is to hack and slash your way out of the underworld of Greek myth. It's never the same experience.
Like Diablo, or
yes, and that's the first thing I think Cesar had asked, was like, "Yo, is it Diablo?"
Okay.
So every time you die,
Gauntlet for really old school.
Yeah, boy.
Ed, I'll have to show you the artwork. Actually, I'll try to show you now. But
my knees just hurt after you just said that. Like, I had instantly had lower back pain.
The art looks amazing. Like it looks like some comic book art. So stupendous artwork.
Oh, nice.
The soundtrack is this badass, like energetic rock soundtrack that apparently you could listen to on YouTube, and they have a Bandcamp. It's done by some dude named Darren Korb, who does all of the soundtracks for Supergiant Games. But it's a dungeon crawler. So you go through these different chambers. You get different power-ups by meeting like other gods in the Greek mythos. And every time you die, you just restart back at the House of Hades. And, and the dialogue is so fun. The script is really fun because everyone's talking shit. Your dad is always like, well, welcome back home, son. You'll never make it out, blah, blah, blah. But every single time, but it's kind of meant for you to keep dying because you end up just getting better. You collect power-ups along the way. And every time
I've heard this before. I'm never playing Dead Souls. Fool me once. Shame on you.
But here's the difference. It's actually really fun. It's not going to make you want to destroy your console. Definitely worth checking out.
No. Fool me once, shame on you, Bloodborne. That's not going to happen again.
It's definitely worth checking out if you're looking for a video game that you could just jump in at any minute, right? It's not super involved with a bunch of cutscenes and this crazy storyline. Pretty straightforward, but it's continuously fresh. Every time you die, the chambers change, the level of power-ups, and there's change. You got to kind of go about it strategically at times too. And the best part, it's fucking cheap. It's $25 on PlayStation Network. I got it for $20 because they had a sale going on, and it has been absolutely worth it. I wish I would have jumped on it in 2020, but no better time than the future or the present. So check out Hades if you're looking for a new video game. Check out Wonder Woman Historia #1 if you're looking for a good comic book. And since this segment is brought to you by our good friends at Black Hive Tattoo, normally we'd have a champion pick by the head honcho of Black Hive, Nick Wagner, but he said, I'm going to extend my vacation to this new year another week, and we're going to have to wait another week to get a champion pick from him. So,
Nick, I'm sorry, okay?
Yeah.
Nick, I'm sorry. I did not mean any of the things I said. I value your money, opinion.
Yeah, just...
Nick Wagner, I never meant to hurt you.
Never meant to hurt you.
Whatever Apple TV pick you have, we will welcome it and enjoy it.
That's what he's doing. He's getting caught up on all these Apple TV picks. Now, but Nick Wagner will be back next week with to wrap us up for champion season. But that's where we're at with this show. And before we officially close out this show, I want to say goodbye to all of you. I'd like to leave all of you with some lasting words this week. Let's go ahead and go around the room, and I want to hear from each one of you to share what you learned this episode or impart some words of wisdom with the listeners. Ashley, I'll look to you first. What do you got to say to wrap us up?
Oh, yeah. I'm just surprised how much I knew about Batman the Animated Series. Like, more than all you guys combined.
Oh my God.
Like, I learned that today. That was pretty crazy. I'm surprised how I, totally just schooled you guys on all that.
Ashley's whipping out the A material.
Yeah,
okay,
that's what I'm
all right.
talking about, Ashley.
Your pick was like
All right,
5
workshopping
series
here.
later.
Talk some shit at.
She's got that fucking tight 5 she's going to do at a local comedy joint, you know.
Oh my God.
I like it. Ed, what about you, man? Parting words. What you got?
I'm just shocked and appalled that you have not seen any of the Karate Kid movies or RoboCop, Ashley. Just hurts my heart. If
You knew Ed Cred was going to take
your
old, take offense to that.
Your old plaque-driven heart.
oh, It's dying.
I will. If Ed watches all of Cobra Kai, I'll watch
Karate
the
Kid?
first Karate Kid
I
movie.
feel like that's kind of a...
This is not
All of
fair
Cobra
at
Kai?
all.
What about just season 1? Wait, what if Ed just watches season 1 of Cobra Kai and you'll watch the first Karate Kid?
That works, because that's all it'll take to get him hooked.
Ed,
I'm
do
sure
you
I'll
agree?
like it.
Damn.
You
Yeah,
agree?
that works.
All right, so next week we're
Is it on
recording.
Netflix now, or is it still that weird YouTube exclusive?
It's
thing?
Netflix.
Oh, Netflix? Okay, I'll watch it.
All right, so next week we record. Do you think you'll be able to report back?
First full season?
Maybe not first full, but whatever you got.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll like
damn.
it.
Done
Because
deal.
I've seen the original, and I enjoyed the original. So I'm sure
No.
I'll
Ashley?
appreciate it on a different level.
Ashley, you're on point. Next week, you got to come back with something to say about the first
Just the
Karate
first
Kid.
one. You don't have to watch
Okay.
all 3. You can skip 3, actually. And that Jaden Smith one. You don't have to watch that one either.
Just omit that one from
The only Jackie
canon.
Chan movie I will not recommend.
See, what about you, man?
So here's what I learned. When the Fistful of Comics stinger played, you were like, those are your only options, literature or violence. And I realized that's kind of how you live your life. And it frightened me a little bit.
You know, growing up on the west side of Jacksonville,
That's
there wasn't
enough.
The mean streets.
not many options out there.
I was like, oh my God. He's like, yo, those are your options. Literature or violence? Hi, it's me. I'm Butter Milligan, and everybody loves me. But yo, this is really who I. No, you know what it is? It's like in my mind after you said it was like DMX. It was like, hey, yo, bitch. Literature. Oh, violence. Oh.
I'll take it.
I'm
And
pretty
rest in
sure I
peace to
clipped
DMX.
out my audio for that.
Yeah, rest in
And
peace.
rest in peace to DMX for the record.
R.I.P. DMX.
All right, the thing I learned, and honestly, Ashley, I got to give you credit for this one because I enjoyed your news piece and the article that you sent so much. It made me realize that if I should ever get a hold of a time machine, fuck going back into time to see a loved one or correct a mistake. I'm going to go buy Amazing Fantasy number 15, Batman number 1, and come back into the present and sell them bitches for $3.6 million and $2.2 million, respectively. Did you see the rest of the, and that was a reference to what Heritage has sold those 2 comic books for this, or last year. The Amazing Spider-Man number 1 for $3.6 million, and Batman number 1 sold for $2.2 million last year, which made it the highest price ever paid for a Dark Knight comic book. Give me a goddamn time machine right now, damn it.
Wait, where are you going to go to get these comics? It really, really, really depends on like
New
how
York
safe-
City.
New York City.
Okay, good. Thank God. Because you go, well, maybe, I don't know. You
Early
go into
60s.
a store, early 60s, get the fuck out of here, you brown bastard.
Oh, man.
Go grab a fucking broom, you piece of shit. Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Yeah, he's right. Ashley, you got anything to say to that? Are you down with my plan?
Sounds foolproof. Yeah.
Foolproof. 100% behind it.
If you mean proven to be foolish, then yes.
We'll kill Hitler next time, guys. We're
Yeah,
going to get these
yeah,
comics first.
Gonna get these comics
paid, all right? All right, folks. Well, there you have it, Short Box Nation. Take those parting words however you may. Hopefully they entertain you or give you, spurn a great idea. Take it how you want it. All right. That was a terrible segue.
Oh.
That should be the title of the documentary. I should have made it. That was a terrible segue. Missed opportunity.
Thank you for hanging out with us this week. Tell us what you thought about this episode. Hit up our DMs on Instagram and Twitter, or send us a short email to read for the next episode. And speaking of next episode, we'll finally be recording another installment of our Artist Spotlight series with a long overdue spotlight on the comic legend that is Jim Lee. No offense to the rest of the content we put out on a weekly basis, but I think our Artist Spotlight episodes are some of our best episodes we put together. And it seems that most of you would agree because our last Artist Spotlight, episode 334, the Mobius episode, is our 3rd best played episode of all time.
Wow.
Considering we have
Nice.
over 350 episodes, that's saying a lot. So give that episode a listen if you haven't, and come back next week for our deep dive into Jim Lee. Of course, if that's too long for you to wait and you just need to hear us blab some more about comics, consider becoming a Patreon subscriber of this podcast and get access to all of our bonus episodes, like our spin-off podcast series, Pilot's License. If you love classic comic book cartoons and animated shows as much as we do, we got you covered. We just released an hour-and-a-half episode dedicated to the best Spider-Man animated show, even though Ed hates the fucking intro song of that show for some reason.
Spider-Man.
You can hear that when you go to patreon.com/theshortbox to sign up, or just click the link in our show notes. We made it easy on you. In the meantime, stay up to date with what we got going on by following us on social media, and most importantly, take care of yourselves. Have a great day, and please continue to make mine and yours Shortbox. We'll talk to you soon. Keep it geeky.
Oh, damn it.